Welcome to Deceive Inc, the most unique first-person shooter you'll ever see in your life. This isn't just any ordinary shooting game, this one is different. Deceive Inc is a stealthy, spy-themed social deduction FPS battle royale game. You're one of only 10 to 12 spies, all with the same goal in mind, and that is to collect and extract the all-important golden briefcase. But wait, there's one problem. Everyone is disguised as an NPC. You have no clue who's a spy and who's an NPC. I invite you to join me on this journey to learn Deceive Inc, so grab some popcorn and let's learn. By the end of this video, you're going to know exactly how to get easy wins in Deceive Inc. In fact, I'm going to tell you about exactly everything in Deceive Inc so you can start getting wins as soon as possible. So stay focused for the absolute ultimate Deceive Inc guide that you won't find anywhere else on YouTube. If you want more wins in Deceive Inc, you need to maneuver the different phases as effectively as possible. Deceive Inc is made up of 3 phases. Your success in each phase will determine how you approach the next phase. When you spawn in, you are given the disguise of a random civilian NPC. This is called the insertion phase. During the insertion phase, there are 5 terminal rooms in total, labeled A, B, C, D, and E. However, only 3 of these locations will contain terminal vaults that need to be disabled before the next phase is unlocked, meaning 2 of these terminal rooms won't have a terminal vault and won't affect the progression of the first phase. You can see how many terminals have been disabled in the top left of your screen by counting how many yellow bars are left. During this phase, you must try your best to collect intel, your field upgrades, key cards, and eliminate other enemy spies. The more key cards and field upgrades you have going into the next phase, the more you can focus on collecting the briefcase and the more prepared you are for any encounters with the other spies. To collect these field upgrades and key cards, you must explore the map and enter restricted rooms, so make sure you wear the correct disguise as you enter each room or else you will be exposed. Infiltration. This phase focuses on being the first spy to collect the briefcase. You must go through highly restricted areas which contain security, technicians, and VIPs. You must get through 2 security doors which cost 5 intel each unless you have the blue key card, 1 purple door which costs 8 intel unless you have the purple key card, and 1 golden door which costs 10 intel unless you have the golden key card. It would cost you 28 intel in total to reach the briefcase if you don't have any key cards. You can follow behind security guards, technicians, and VIPs through the doors to get into rooms closer to the briefcase. The extraction phase begins once the briefcase has been collected and is 10 minutes in total. Once the briefcase is collected, the location of the briefcase carrier will ping constantly depending on how quickly they are moving. The faster you move, the more your location will ping. The slower you move, the less your location will ping. This gives the spies that don't have the briefcase a chance at knowing where the briefcase carrier is so that they can steal it from you. The carrier of the briefcase will have a wall hack scan, meaning they can see all the other remaining spies through walls. This is huge and is one of the main benefits of getting the briefcase first. This will allow you to either use the briefcase offensively to approach and attack other spies, or defensively to avoid the other spies by knowing where they are and going to another location. You don't get wall hacks for free though, it costs intel. The more you use your wall hack scan, the more intel it will use. So make sure to keep yourself topped up on intel throughout all phases in Deceive Inc. The person that manages to extract the briefcase at an extraction point is the winner. The only way you can stop other spies from extracting is by eliminating the briefcase carrier, which causes them to drop the briefcase on the ground, making it free to pick up for any of the remaining spies. There are 3 extraction points located on each map, with each extraction area having its own pros and cons. Once you call the extraction car, it takes 20 seconds to arrive. You can only call at each extraction point once. So for example, if you call at location A, then change to location B, you can't then go back to location A and extract there. You can now only extract at either B or change the extraction point to C. So you do have some flexibility when extracting the briefcase. So now you know how to win in Deceive Inc. What you don't know is the classes and the different agents, what they're good at and what they're maybe not so good at, so that we can find the very best agent for your playstyle. So let's get straight into it. Did you know there are 4 different classes with at least 2 agents in each class? Deceive Inc is basically a hero shooter with agents that each have their own unique abilities, weapons and passives. Depending on which playstyle you like to have, there will be an agent perfect for you. First off, we have the Vanguard class. They're well-rounded, self-reliant fighters that can get through the thick and thin of it. Chavez and Squire are the two Vanguards we have in Deceive Inc. Chavez, he's a serious tank, he's the Hulk. He can deal a lot of damage and he can also receive a lot of damage. All of his abilities help him to stay alive longer, and he does this by going invincible as well as taking less damage from his enemies. And also he has self-healing, so yeah, he's just a serious tank with a lot of health and he can just take lots of damage and you can't kill him. We also have Squire, who's a more rounded agent. He's a bit more adaptable as he has a wider range of passives and abilities in comparison to Chavez. He can scan rooms for valuable items. Being able to scan rooms for valuable items allows him to loot up quicker than the other spies and, you know, get to the briefcase quicker. He can run really fast, and being as fast as he is, he can chase down enemies and run away from enemies too. He can also sense danger. When he's close to an enemy spy, the blue circle goes red. You can use this to figure out where enemy spies are and either attack people that are in the area and hope that one of them is a spy, or to go to a different area and know that you're safe. Scoundrels are the slippery and sneaky class of Deceive Inc, the tricksters of Deceive Inc. If you think you've caught them, then be ready for them to escape into thin air. Larson is probably the most hated agent to play against because if you come up against a good one, you won't forget how he made you feel. He can pickpocket all of your items, leaving you homeless, and he can even take your money in the game. All of his abilities revolve around him going invisible, so if he does go invisible, make sure to keep your eyes peeled for any doors opening on their own, as it means Larson is in the area. Madame Shu is another scoundrel who is also very tricky to fight against, as she can teleport to other NPCs, leaving behind a decoy, which can be quite confusing, especially for Deceive Inc beginners. Her passives allow her to sense where other spies are throughout the match. Our third scoundrel and the newest addition to the team is Red. She has many different playstyles, but her main expertise is regaining her cover instantly, which is huge. This means she can get into a fight, and if she manages to escape, you can instantly get your cover back and a new disguise, which will leave the enemy confused if they turn the corner and they don't see the disguise you were wearing before. Disruptors can directly control what enemy spies are trying to do. If you want to do a Fortnite dance but a character from the Disruptor class is fighting you, you might not be able to do your favorite dance move. They can stop you from using abilities and disrupt your movement and the flow of the fight. Yumi is really good at slowing down her enemies with her bubbles. She has two uses for her bubbles. One is an EMP field that destroys enemy gadgets and slows the enemy, and the other is a healing orb that heals for large amounts of health, making you choose whether to fight her in her healing bubble or run away before she gets back to full health. Hands neutralizes his enemies, meaning they can't use their expertise. He also slows them drastically. This combination basically makes his enemies a sitting duck. You don't want to get caught by hands. His passives also allow him to break the cover of enemy spies much easier than the other spies, and he does this by sending out a wave of energy in the area that will reveal a spy's true identity if they're close enough to hands. Trackers are the detectives of Deceive Inc. They can find or keep their eyes on enemy spies with ease. Cavalier tracks down her enemies by laying traps that, when used by other spies, their location will be revealed through walls. She can also take evidence of items other enemy spies have interacted with, which also reveals their location. She's also quite the fighter. She has the most interesting melee attacks in the game, with a wide variety of uses for them. She can either leap towards her enemies, speed herself up after hitting her enemies, or slow her enemies down with her melee attacks. Ace is the sniper girl of Deceive Inc, and she does a lot of damage. If you catch somebody in your sights, it's going to be a long day for them. She can track enemies by applying a mark to them. This mark leads a trail to follow to their current location. She can also apply a mark that makes you do more damage and makes your teammates do more damage to the person that's been marked. Each agent has their own unique weapon, expertise and passives, and as you gain experience with each agent and level them up, you will eventually have a total of 3 weapons, 3 different expertises and 3 different passives for each agent. Make sure you play around with a mix of different expertises, weapons and passives and see which one feels the best for you. You need to use your gadgets properly, because if you don't, you're missing out on easy wins in Deceive Inc. This detailed Deceive Inc Gadgets guide will help you to know everything everything you need to know about the gadgets in Deceive Inc. Unlike abilities, gadgets can be used by all agents. You don't need to be a specific agent to use specific gadgets. There are 4 different types of gadgets, and in each match you spawn in with 2 gadgets each. You pick these 2 gadgets before the match even starts. So let's get straight into the different gadgets, starting with the defensive gadgets. These tools are designed to help keep you safe on your missions. Auto turret. If you want to do extra damage, throw out your turret, and over time your turret will keep doing damage to any hostile NPCs or spies. The damage isn't huge, but over time, if they stay close enough to the turret and keep taking damage, the numbers do add up. I've got a few kills with the turret, so don't ignore this option. You do need to be thoughtful about where you place your turret, as if your turret cannot physically see the enemy, it can't shoot them. This means that they can literally just walk around the corner and they won't be taking any damage from the turret. You can also use your turret as a stationary camera, meaning you can literally spy on other players. Bounce map. If you want to have the best mobility in the game, you need to use the bounce map. It can help you to take escape routes and paths that other agents won't be able to use. Shieldbrella. Shieldbrellas are portable or deployable shields which protect you from taking weapon and melee damage. Shields are often used during a shootout with other spies or to defend yourself from being ambushed when interacting with the environment. Interacting with the environment includes things such as hacking locked doors, opening field upgrade safes, and collecting golden briefcase, which all requires you to not have your weapon available. Having no weapon available literally means you have no defense, so the Shieldbrella is useful for, giving you that little bit of extra protection. Deception gadgets. A good agent blends in. An outstanding one is like a piece of furniture, completely ignored and overlooked. Mimic. You can mimic objects around you by quickly scanning them and transforming into them. Use this to blend in with the environment to catch spies off guard and ambush them, or when running away from a fight to seemingly vanish into thin air. Scrambler. The Scrambler is used to disable enemy gadgets. You can either place down a Scrambler in an area so your hands are free to do other things, such as fight other spies while disabling their gadgets, or use it while you walk to get rid of those pesky tripwires, mimics, and other gadgets. Traps. When leaving an area or just ensuring problems for your rivals attempting to follow you, these gadgets will interrupt and disrupt the plans of your rivals. The choice of slowing them down directly or perhaps breaking their cover in a room full of guards is yours to make. Goo pod. Goo covers an area and slows anyone down that walks in it. These are useful for slowing down enemies potentially chasing you or trying to escape after collecting the briefcase. They can also be used in fights to slow down your enemy's movement to get easier shots on them. Hack trap. Hack things that spies are able to pay for. Once they are trapped, if an enemy spy hacks that same object, they will be traced for a decent duration of time. Intel devices, locked doors, safes, and extraction points can all be hack trapped. Tripwires. Place down tripwires in areas you think other spies will be, and if the tripwires are walked into, their cover will be broken. They'll be exposed as a spy and a broadcast will be sent out to other spies. Recon. Never make a move without knowing everything that's going on. Scout out locations and even potential rivals. Or sit back and collect that intel from a distance without any moves that might give away that you're a spy. Recon drone. Use recon drone to scout the area and see what other spies are doing. You can also shoot a tracking dart at a spy or just an NPC to get wall hacks on a specific person. Spyglass. Use spyglasses to interact with the environment around you from a distance. This helps you to much easier blend in as an NPC, as you don't have to worry about walking directly up to things. With the spyglasses, you can hack locked doors, you can collect intel, you can open safes to collect your field upgrades, and you can even use it to revive teammates in team modes. NPCs are the life of some games, but in Deceive Inc, the NPCs are even more vital, and without so many of them walking and running around the various maps, it would be impossible to deceive the enemy spies. You can change your disguise into any NPC just by being close enough to them and interacting with them to steal their disguise, but you need to be careful, as changing your disguise in front of other players will quickly give away your identity. It also leaves behind a red orb on the ground, which lets other players know someone close by has just changed their disguise. We have 5 different rarities of NPCs in Deceive Inc, starting with civilians. Civilians have a very wide variety of different looks. They have access to the least amount of areas but have the highest number of NPCs on the map. They do stuff like sit down, go to the bar, admire art, just really basic things. They aren't allowed anywhere besides communal areas that everyone is allowed in and don't have the power to tell off anybody. They're weak. They will be scared and hide or run away if they hear gunshots. Staff wear some shade of green. They keep all areas clean and ensure the bar areas are attended. They're allowed in both communal areas and in staff rooms. They will tell off all civilian NPCs if they try to enter the staff room. They will also be scared and hide or run away if they hear gunshots. Security guards wear blue blazers. They guard and patrol the blue security rooms. They have guns and will shoot to kill if your cover is broken and you're exposed. They'll also slap you up if you get close enough to them. Their guns do 5 damage per shot and their punches do 10 damage per hit. On their own, they're not too scary, but if you let too many of them gang up on you, it's going to be a long day for you. You can easily lose most of your health, especially if you're already in the middle of fighting another spy. If you go into staff or security rooms without the proper disguise, they will tell you off. Technicians wear lab coats. They do sciencey things in their purple science laboratories, like look at chemicals and computer and other nerdy stuff. You won't see technicians until the second phase of the game, where the doors leading towards the briefcase open. However, once this phase starts, technicians will start to roam the rest of the map like the other NPCs. They will tell off all civilian staff and security NPCs if they try and enter the technician labs. They'll also be scared and hide or run away if they hear gunshots. VIPs always wear some sort of orangey golden attire. I believe there's only 2 VIP on each map in each game as well. VIPs roam the entire map without being stopped by anyone. However, if you hurt a real VIP, you'll instantly gain a significant amount of heat level. If you want to shoot a VIP, you need to be 100% sure they're a real player. The reason you need to do this is because of the heat system, which makes you take more damage. The heat system which punishes you for killing too many NPCs or the VIP. They'll tell off anyone that is in an area they aren't meant to be in. Naturally, the rarer your disguise, the more attention you'll attract from other players, so be sure to use the right disguise for the right situation. If you just want to walk around in a communal area, you really don't need to be a VIP. If you want to go collect the briefcase, get rid of that civilian disguise and go get a technician or VIP disguise, maybe even a security disguise. Have you just collected the briefcase and now you're preparing to go to an extraction point? Get rid of the scientist outfit, turn yourself into a civilian. Now let's quickly talk about what you can actually do to convince other players you're an NPC. Besides doing social interactions like guarding as a security, cleaning as a staff member, and looking at computers as a technician, you can actually wake up other NPCs that have been knocked out by other spies. Do this by simply crouching on a sleeping NPC. Make sure to have the correct disguise in the area you're waking them up in, as you don't want to wake them up only for them to start telling you off. Try to copy NPCs' movements as best as possible. Most new players won't walk in straight lines and will be very obvious that they're spies to more experienced players. Learn to walk as straight as possible to keep their attention on you as low as possible. You need to be careful with this new mechanic in Deceive Inc, or else you'll take more damage, lose more fights, and lose more matches, and we don't want that to happen. If you have trouble figuring out who's a real NPC and who's a spy, you might have something to be very scared of, and it's called the heat system. The reason the heat system was made was to reduce the evil spies that go around knocking out all of the innocent NPCs. Evil spies. To combat this, Deceive Inc decided to implement a punishment for bad behavior during our missions. The heat system has 3 tiers of punishment. The more innocent NPCs you knock out, the more damage you'll take from all sources. This will include everything from security guards shooting you or punching you to enemy spies shooting you as well. If you believe someone is an enemy spy, you can usually check by shooting them or hitting them. If you think they're a real player, you'll break their cover, you'll do some damage to them, and you'll get an early advantage in the fight. However, we all make mistakes. Mistakes are normal, but some spies are making way too many mistakes, so Deceive Inc has put in this punishment in place to make missions a little bit more spy-like, instead of just purely team deathmatch and just killing everybody in the lobby. We have the first heat level. You'll become 30% more vulnerable to damage for 12 seconds. What this basically means is you take more damage for 12 seconds. If you kill another NPC, those 12 seconds will refresh. The second heat level is you'll become 50% more vulnerable to damage for 15 seconds. This penalty is renewed on your next NPC elimination as well. And the third heat level, you've gone rogue. You'll take 100% more damage for 20 seconds and you'll gain the exposed status effect. This makes you unable to recover for the duration of the time, which means you can't get your cover back. This is a severe penalty that will only happen to the most unhinged of the agents. So if you're a crazy spy going around killing all the NPCs, you need to be careful of the heat level, because it's gonna hurt you. You need to kill 3 innocent NPCs to reach the first heat level, so although receiving 30% extra damage is a huge amount, you can still kind of get away with making quite a few mistakes before you actually start getting punished. In Deceive Inc, you need to use your intel to your advantage, or else you will lose more matches. If you're a fresh new beginner to the Deceive Inc world, then you're probably wondering, what is intel actually used for and why is it so important? Intel is the currency of Deceive Inc, and it determines, especially in the earlier parts of the game, which areas and rooms you have access to. You can use intel to access staff rooms, security rooms, terminal rooms, and last but not least the VIP room, which contains the golden briefcase. These are also the rooms with the best loot, so you need to get into them as soon as possible. There's a few things that you can use your intel for. You can use it to heal to 100%. You just pay free intel at a healing station across the map. You just use your navigation scan to scan for a healing room. You go there, you pay your free intel, and you're good to go. You're ready to fight again. You can use it to hack locked staff rooms, security rooms, technician doors, and also the VIP door. This costs 3, 5, 8, and 10 intel. To make sure you have enough intel to get into terminal rooms, sometimes you might have to open the security doors, leave them to collect a bit more intel at another location, then come back to unlock the terminal room located in that security room, as not every security room has a decent amount of intel to collect. You need to keep your ammo topped up, and ammo is one of the things that you can buy with intel. In every security room there's going to be an ammo buy-in station. It costs 3 intel to get, so if you're low on ammo, it's going to cost you about maybe 9 intel to fill up all of your gun's ammo. So yeah, get ready for war with the other spies and just keep your ammo topped up with free intel. Ammo can also be bought in all 5 security rooms on each map. Ammo can also be found in random places across the map, so if you really want to save your intel, then just do a little bit of exploring across the map and you should be able to find some ammo. If you do manage to collect the briefcase first, then the power of having the briefcase is not only that if you extract you win the match, but to get past and navigate all of the other spies, you actually get the ability to use wall hacks. All you need to do is press your scan button, which is L1 on PlayStation, LB on Xbox, and Q on PCs, and you'll have a literal wall hack. Deceive Inc is a game with loads of different layers to keep the game feeling fresh. Every Deceive Inc agent has their own weapons, abilities, and passives, but there is one thing they all share: field upgrades. With each agent and every player having different playstyles, certain field upgrades will be much more useful to some agents and players than other field upgrades. You need to make sure you know everything about Deceive Inc field upgrades, because having the right field upgrades can increase your win rate by a huge 69%. If you're confused about Deceive Inc field upgrades, then you've come to the right place. First off, what are Deceive Inc field upgrades? Think of field upgrades as power up that you pick up during a match. You have white, green, blue, purple, and gold field upgrades, from white being the easiest to get to gold being the riskiest and most difficult to get. They give you boosts to your stats, from smaller boosts to larger boosts as you go up in rarity. For example, a white health perk will give you an increase of 5 maximum health, leaving you with 105 health, whereas a gold health perk will leave you with 115 maximum health. We'll get more into detail about the different perks in a second. How do you get field upgrades? To get these upgrades, you either need to use the intel that you collect and pay to open the field upgrade safe, or you can get them from other spies, leaving them behind or dropping them on the floor after getting eliminated. So now you know what field upgrades are for, what they do, and how to get them. Now you need to know what are the different types of field upgrades. We have 9 different field upgrades in Deceive Inc. In no particular order, we have faster cover regeneration. This will allow players to recover from a broken cover more quickly. It also provides you with more flexibility and freedom to take risks. Extra ammo capacity. This will allow players to engage in more combat situations without having to worry about their ammo. It also increases the chance of winning in prolonged shootouts. increased intel capacity. This will grant the ability to accumulate more intel for purchasing items and ammo, healing, you know, all that kind of stuff, unlocking doors or using wall hacks. Having more intel will allow you to have more strategic options and, you know, easier to manage your resources. Faster hacking speed. Having faster hacking speed will enable quicker intel gathering and door locking, and this will just improve your overall efficiency when roaming around a map. It will also reduce being vulnerable while hacking, as when you're hacking things you don't have your weapon in your hand, meaning you can't defend yourself. So being able to hack things quicker means less time not being able to defend yourself. Maximum health perk will increase your survivability in fights, and it will provide a buffer for mistakes or unexpected situations. Reduced expertise cooldown. This will grant you more frequent use of your agent's expertise. It will allow you to have different playstyles depending on the expertise, and some agents have really long cooldowns, meaning in a fight they can only use their ability once, whereas other agents have really short cooldowns, meaning they can use their ability like twice. So having that extra cooldown for agents with that longer cooldown, you know, it makes a big difference. Although some agents have a really short cooldown, so adding even more cooldown might be a little bit of overkill for some agents. Regenerate health in social interactions. This provides a unique and immersive way to recover health while maintaining cover. It also encourages players to utilize social interactions more often. The only issue with this is really if you're unable to find an opportunity to sit down or do a social interactions, then you know it's going to be a little bit rough. If you can't get your cover back to do a social interaction, then you know you're going to be in a tough spot. Increased health from food. This makes food as a healing resource a lot more valuable. Allows players to bounce back from damage more easily, as the healing from food is instant. The issues with it are if you're not around food, then you've literally got a useless perk, and if you can't find food, then you know it's not good. It also relies on you looking specifically for food during the match or a fight. The reduced intel drain from package scan it's a huge one. It's a very important one, because at the end of the day, your goal is to kind of get the briefcase. It makes the golden briefcase wall hack ability more sustainable, as your intel doesn't drain as much when scanning. Con is it's only beneficial to the player carrying the golden briefcase, so if you aren't one out of the 12 players with the briefcase, you're effectively using a useless perk. So yeah, if you don't usually get the briefcase, then this might not be the perk for you. You need to experiment with a mix of agents and field upgrades to find the perfect combination that suits you. How effective the field upgrades you choose will depend on your playstyle and strategy. I have to clap for you. You've done a lot of learning in this guide. Learning a new game is a lot of hard work, so I want to reward you with some laughs. Take a look at this playlist that has some of the funniest Deceive Inc videos on YouTube, or if you want to learn a little bit more about the game, take a look at this playlist, which will help you learn even more Deceive Inc tips and tricks, especially for beginners. Please feel free to drop a like on the video. I put a lot of hard work into this guide, so I would really appreciate it. And yeah, until next time, do what makes you happy.